It's not like you don't already know what you need to do in order to pursue your goals. More or less, you have a broad idea. So lack of knowledge is not what's holding you back. So could it be thoughts such as, what if I don't succeed? What if I fail? What will people say? Club them all together and you get yourself the fear of failure. Now this fear of failure is not uncommon. However, left unchecked, and it's going to cost you your goals. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what you can do to overcome this fear of failure, practically the one thing that you can do, and hint, it has something to do with what lawyers do. So stick around. Hi there and welcome back to another episode of Up It and the Actionables podcast. This is Payton. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer or a listener, thank you for tuning back in. Before we get started, as always, don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and also the bell icon to get notified every time we bring you content like this, which is every week. And now let's dive into how to overcome the fear of failure. As is the case with any fear, the person who experiences this fear may genuinely believe that they are not strong enough to overcome this fear. They may want to avoid getting hurt and disappointed, which is understandable. But there might be many reasons as to why someone has this fear of failure. Now, most psychologists say that the reason why somebody who has a full-blown fear of failure is not because they just want to avoid getting hurt or disappointed, but mostly because they may want to avoid feeling ashamed of themselves. So this is how it works. Shame is such a toxic emotion that when certain people take action or don't take action and don't get the desired results, they may take that failure and make it about themselves. Instead of assessing what went wrong, what could be improved upon, they take that failure and associate it with their worthiness, which is severely a damaging thing to do. No matter what causes this fear of failure, unless and until you choose to get over it, you will always be held back. The biggest disadvantage of allowing this fear of failure to control you is that you will never really know the outcome of what you're trying to pursue. Because think about it this way. What is the worst thing that can happen if you were to listen to yourself and pursue your goals? The very worst thing, like imagine the worst case scenario. It will not come to that. And even if it does, guess what? You can figure it out. Like any fear, the fear of failure can also be overcome by facing it. I know how overtly simplistic that may sound. However, here's an example. For the longest time, I was scared of flying. Before every flight, I get extremely anxious. However, the fear of flying hasn't kept me from actually flying because that would be absurd. So the point I'm trying to make is, no matter what you're afraid of, and specifically this fear of failure that's keeping you and holding you back from even trying to do what you want, will always hold you back unless and until you take action despite your fear. Like, you do not have to sit in your fear and not let it control you. What you can do instead is acknowledge that yes, I'm scared. Yes, this is something that I'm not kicked about doing, but this is something I need to do. So even though I'm scared of doing it, I'm going to pick myself up and do what's necessary and take action despite my fear. So that is actually the place where you start to face your fear of failure. And now let's talk about how to get over this fear using what a lawyer would do. So we're going to use something called as beyond reasonable doubt. So this is what reasonable doubt in law means. A standard of proof that must be surpassed to convict an accused in a criminal proceeding. Reasonable doubt is a standard of proof used in criminal trials. When a criminal defendant is prosecuted, the prosecutor must provide the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So this is how it works. The best way to deal with any fear, and specifically with fear of failure, is to first deal with your doubts. Identify what are all those doubts that you have about you succeeding. All the things that you think can go wrong, identify and list them down. Second is you're going to create doubt about your doubts. Stay with me. It's very simple. Just like you go out actively seeking for all the evidences that you're not going to be able to succeed, what I'm suggesting is flip it around and actively look out for evidences that you may. For example, if you truly want to do something, all you need to do is go out and find one person who has done it. And in most cases than not, you will find that there is someone somewhere who has done what you want to do, which means you do not know 100% that you're going to fail. Ask yourself, why do you need to doubt that you are going to fail? What if instead you start seeking for reasons that you may succeed? So what that means without a reasonable doubt is that you can't be so certain that you're going to fail. So without a reasonable doubt, I'd say that your fear of failure is simply a fear. And if you want to truly pursue and reach your goals, then you will have to go out and look for reasons to doubt your doubts. All you need to do is find one evidence to doubt your doubts. I hope this is helpful. Tell me in the comments below how you are trying to overcome your fear of failure. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I will see you next week. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can hit me up on social. My handle on Instagram is @PadensLive. For personalized help with your life goals, check out the resources mentioned in the link below. And don't forget, what you want matters, and it's really up to you to make it happen. Stay healthy and stay happy. I'll see you next week. See ya.